Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
You are listening to the Brilliance Business Show, conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. We have a wonderful guest today, Kath Reade, international best-selling author. Kath, welcome to Brilliance Business.
Oh, hello, Mark. Great to be here.
I'm really looking forward to a conversation with you today, Kath. Before I get started, I just need to make a legal disclaimer that Kath is not offering legal advice or legal assistance. So let's get started with the show. Kath, what led you to write a best-selling travel book at the age of 73?
Well, it was rather like a bulb developing under the ground and at long last developing shoots and flowers bursting out in the form of a book. It was always there potentially, and my son, who's now in his 40s, his comment was, "What took you so long?" As
Yes.
You always told me you wanted to write a book when I was a child. So, it's been coming. But from a council flat near London, looking after my terminally ill mother through my childhood and young life, to being a social worker in the toughest parts of Manchester in my 20s, I kind of came up the hard way to be the first ever woman to become leader of Burnley Council in Lancashire.
Congratulations.
And then I was, it was amazing, really. And then an award-winning chair of Lancashire and Cumbria NHS, to being on the board of the North West of England Regional Development Agency, and an international speaker on regeneration of our towns and cities and improving the health of people, which was really my absolute passion. So, as you can tell, Mark, I've been a bit busy.
You certainly have.
It wasn't until, the pandemic and the lockdown that I came to make my dream come true, really, by writing about my travels and adventures across the world,
Who are your readers, Kath?
Well, during the lockdown, I've always been a singer-songwriter, and I started singing my songs on Facebook Live every day and offering calming meditations and also reading from my travel diaries. And I was really amazed, Mark, to find something like 3,000 to 5,000 views and likes for each of these from people right across the world. So many different countries. It was absolutely wonderful because they sent the most beautiful messages. So I think they're the ones who probably gave my travel book, quite a big boost initially. And then it continued, and it was number one hot new release by Amazon. And this is in the travel category, and it was number one for some weeks in the UK, the USA, Canada, Australia. And it was doing quite well in places like Spain. So I was really
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
Do you recall an aha moment when you decided to become an author?
Well, I think it was really the kickstart of the followers on Facebook who particularly liked my readings of my travel diaries. And, I think that's really how it came about, that I thought, right, I can put all these together into a book, and they were encouraging me to do so, And it got its title, Jumping Over My Shadow, The Travel Diaries of Kath Reade, because in Interlaken in Switzerland, and the followers particularly like this, when I was 60, I jumped off a Swiss Alp, strapped to a very handsome Swiss man called Fritz. And we did this tandem parascending, And I loved it so much, flying around the mountains and landing in a meadow in the middle of Interlaken. I was whooping with joy the whole time. And so Fritz, he wouldn't take the full payment. And he said, no, I won't take all the money because you really jumped over your own shadow. And so that's the title of the book, Jumping Over My Shadow, The Travel Diaries of Kath Reade.
It's a great title as well, Kath. Kath, what motivates you to jump out of bed every single day?
Well, I always cultivate or try to an attitude of gratitude, so that, you know, when I open my eyes in the morning, I feel grateful for the day, grateful for my sight. I've had a few operations on my eyes, so I don't take sight for granted, and particularly writing, you know. So seeing the eyesight for the miracle that it is. And I've got a picture of beautiful garden birds next to my bed that my son gave me. And I open my eyes, and if I can see those birds, I'm okay.
Gratitude is a great way to start the day. What is it that is unique about your writing and your songwriting?
Well, I think maybe I can answer that by sharing this message I received from someone who loved my book.
Lovely.
And because it's less big-headed if I quote you someone else, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So he wrote to me and he said, my holiday was the ideal way in which to delight in your delicious book. It was a catch-22 because as I advanced greedily through it, each page spitting out laughs and adventure, so every eagerly turned page just brought the end ever closer.
I love that, Kath. That's beautiful.
Wasn't it nice? So I copied and pasted it, and I thought I can quote that, and you've given me the opportunity.
Definitely. Now, Kath, what need are you fulfilling in people who buy your book and your albums of songs?
Well, I suppose it's really, again, probably if I quote somebody about my singing, instead of me saying it, somebody wrote to me and said, your voice is like fluid gold. Your singing is a big inspiration to me. I close my eyes and I love listening to you. Reminds me of Billie Holiday. So that was a beautiful one. And then somebody else, I've got all the names, these are all verified. Somebody else said, your music can move mountains. Please keep singing and sharing for us.
I love that. That's beautiful. Why is what you do important in today's modern world?
Well, I feel it's crucially important to imbue our work with compassion and kindness. And I meditate every day. And I saw this very good poster, actually, of a Buddhist monk meditating. And it said beside it, don't just do something, sit there. And I think that's a really good message, because we need to get our act together, to spend time with ourselves, to find that stillness and inner peace, which can be found if we continue to meditate regularly, and just have a bit of peace and quiet with ourselves. And that brings forth our capacity for compassion and kindness to others. And I think that's what's important in today's world more than anything for me, but laced with humour. And for me, humour is, mischievous, can be challenging, but never at other people's expense. And that's something I feel pretty strongly about. I mean, I'm always cracking jokes and laughing. I think it's very good to laugh, and people like that about my live performances and my writing, but never at the expense of others. And I think my book is actually saying, let's get out there and see the world and appreciate different cultures and meet lots of different people, you know?
I have to agree. Kindness, compassion, which is definitely we need more of in the world. But humour, yes, we need fun as well. It's nice to have a smile on our faces, but not at the expense of others. What do your customers typically say to you, Kath?
Well, I was just thinking, actually, what you were reminding me of there before I go on to that question is even if you can't speak each other's language, you can still communicate, you know, different cultures with goodwill and a smile. And I was in my book, there's an incident where I was hitchhiking through Italy in 1968. And I got a lift in one of those really tiny little white Fiats, you know, that are all over Italy. And we were travelling at breakneck speed down the motorway. And there was a big metal milk churn wedged between me and the driver with my bare legs up against it. And I couldn't speak Italian. He couldn't speak English. So I sort of pointed at it and said, what's in here, you know, that we're crunched up against? So he, without slowing down at all, took out a felt tip pen from his jacket and drew two symbols on it.
Yes.
And I peered at them, and one was a pair of bull's horns, and the other was quite clearly a sperm. And it was absolutely hilarious. So I would say travelling, singing, dancing, laughing, and trying to do it all with kindness and compassion is really what my customers reflect back. And added to which, they do reflect back that I'm always well informed, well briefed, a very good public speaker, because I can move people quite deeply, but also make them laugh, and they get some useful and accurate information too. So there was a quote from a music magazine, which I like, which said, a live performance from Kath Reade is unmissable. So I've got to quote you that one, Mark.
Oh, I'm loving all these quotes, Kath. You're definitely serving the world in a great way, and you're definitely bringing lots of joy to the world as well, Kath. How do people usually hear about you and find your books and music?
Well, they can find me on Facebook. And also my website, which has been designed by my son, and it's really nice. And it's obviously www.kathreade.co.uk. I'm on YouTube quite a lot, and I'm on iTunes. And obviously you can get my book from my website or from Amazon or on Kindle. I'm on Bandcamp under Kath Reade Music. And so just send me an email or order something from my online shop or from Amazon. And I look forward to being in touch with people.
So just for the viewers and the listeners, can you just share again your book title so they know what to look for on Amazon, and give us your website address again?
Okay. Well, the title of the book is Jumping Over My Shadow. And that's The Travel Diaries of Kath Reade. So it has like a subtitle to it as well. Jumping Over My Shadow, The Travel Diaries of Kath Reade. And the website is www.kathreade.co.uk. And that's Kath is Kath, and Reade is Reade.
Kath, I have thoroughly enjoyed having a conversation with you today. Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
No, I think that's, I could go on for ages, you know, and hopefully people will enjoy my book. And one of the things people always say about the book is that they feel that they're there with me. So if you want to come with me to Cape Town in spring, or come on a road trip across the west of America, or just watch the dolphins up on a Hebridean island in Scotland, then get my book and come with me.
I love that. We all need to learn from others' experiences, others' joy, and really learn from other people, which is really, really what you're bringing to the table, with lots of fun as well, Kath. Kath, thank you so much for coming on to Brilliance Business. I've really enjoyed having a conversation with you.
I've enjoyed it too, Mark. Thanks very much for having me.
The pleasure's been all mine. You have been listening to the Brilliance Business Show, conversations with leading experts in...
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.